Don't ask me how, but somehow when I was importing all the footage, I found out that I'd lost the first half of the makeup tutorial that I'd filmed for Sara, so I'm going to have to talk you through most of it. Now obviously I'd already filled in her eyebrows, applied foundation and applied eye primer, so then I moved on to the eyes. And the eyes is basically exactly the same thing that I did for Wing, but just with a little bit more brown on the outer corner. The idea behind this look is that we would each have makeup which focused on our better features. I was going to have makeup which would focus more on my lips, and then Sara would have makeup which would focus more on her eyes, so that way there'd be a nice contrast between her eyes and the makeup. Now I used the same pink and then a little bit of brown on the outer corner. I also applied some individual false lashes instead of strip lashes, and then I used a peachy pink blush starting at the apples of the cheeks and then blended along the cheekbones. And then that's it. That's how I did Sara's makeup. For my makeup, it's, again, pretty simple. You're probably going to be a little bit bored by how simple it is, but I started off with a face cream since my skin was having a little bit of an issue with me that day, to use that as a base, and then after that I applied foundation and blended it all out, especially along the jawline. I also applied a little bit of concealer just on the outer corner of the eyes where I tend to get quite a bit of redness there, to make sure that's all covered. I also applied some concealer along the inner corner of my eyes as well and blended that out with a blending brush. Filled in my eyebrows after that as well, and then I moved on to contour. As usual, I'm just going to be contouring underneath the cheekbones and then along the jawline as well, and blending that out. And then for blush, I used exactly the same blush that I used on Wing and Sara as well. With all these looks, the idea was to use exactly the same products, but just in different amounts on each of us. Now for the eyes, I used a black eyeliner and I lined that as close to the lashes as possible. The easiest way to do this, especially if you're not used to doing eyeliner, is just to place it at the very root of the eyelashes, wiggle it a little bit and then move on to the next section. After that you've got a bit of a guideline and you can just go over everything and make sure that it's really neat and clean. I did a slight wing at the outer corner, and whatever was left on the brush I brought that all the way into the inner corner of the eye, and then on the outer corner of the lower lid you just want to run that colour through the lashes. And don't worry if it's a little splotchy at first, you're going to go over that with a blending brush and make sure that it's all neat. Once I'd applied that colour, I took a blending brush, and this one's more of a flat shader brush, and I ran that right underneath the lashes and blended everything out. Now for lashes, I didn't end up using a full pair of lashes. It wouldn't have worked since both Sara and I had very minimal makeup as far as lashes went, so instead I just used a pair of demi lashes on the outer corner of the eye. And then just to make sure that that lash line isn't going to show, I went over with a smaller detail brush and made sure that I got that black eyeliner right into the roots of the eyelashes, so that way there was a very clean transition from the demi lashes to my real lashes and they weren't as noticeable. Then I went ahead and applied a little bit of mascara, and this is a very light mascara so it's barely noticeable. It's not going to give you some massive false lash type eyelashes. It's just to separate them and make sure that they're a little bit darker, especially on the lower lid as well. The last thing I did was the lips, and for the lips I used 3 different products. I used 2 different lipsticks, one which was more of a neutral pinky red I would say, and one which was closer to a burgundy. I used the more pinky colour all over the lips as a base colour, and then over that, just right down the centre of the lips, exactly like what I did with Wing, I used that darker burgundy colour and just kept that to the middle of the lips. And then I went over that with a burgundy lip liner just to make sure that that colour was slightly darker. Blended it all out. And then that's it. And that's how I did the makeup for the music video.